This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm talking about the key provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was recently signed into law and how that might impact you. So this is as the name suggests, it has a lot of stuff in it. And there's things that I'm going to not cover this week that might apply to you, but I'm trying to focus on the things that I think are the most relevant for the most number of listeners of those of you who are getting close to retirement. So today I want to talk about some time-sensitive changes. If you're planning to buy a new car anytime soon, an electric vehicle, you want to get a tax break on putting a new energy efficient appliances, windows, etc., you need to listen up, okay? So I'm going to go over a few things. One of the key provisions in the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 was a bunch of clean energy tax credits. So a lot of these are going to be repealed. So I'm just going to go over a few of them. But the bottom line here is that if you're looking to buy a new charging equipment for your EV, buy a new EV, a lot of these things are going away, and they're going away quickly. If you buy a new electric vehicle or even a used one, there is a credit that you get up to $7,500. That expires at the end of September. So yeah, if you're going to buy a new EV, better get on that. If you are going to install a electric vehicle charging station at your residence, there was $1,000 tax credit for that. That goes away. That one's a little bit longer, June of next year. Energy efficient home improvement credit. So there's a tax credit up to $1,200 that if you make energy efficiency improvements like windows, doors, insulation, HVAC, things like that, you have until December 31st of this year before that tax credit expires. And then with solar panels, wind power, geothermal heat pumps, fuel cell equipment, okay, that's a bit more specialized, but a big clean energy credit up to 30% of the cost of purchasing or installing these things is what is currently in place. And that goes away after December 31st of this year. So if you're planning to buy an electric vehicle, make home improvements, and you're counting on those tax credits to help offset the cost, you better get down to Home Depot right now and buying those new windows. So you want to make sure that those are in place before the deadline. And the other thing that's sort of related to this that's new, not going away, but new, is a deduction on interest on auto loans. So other than the repeal of some of these clean energy tax credits, there's a new deduction as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill that would apply to interest on loans that are used to purchase vehicles. So this has to be for personal use. You want to dig into the details because it's like if you buy a new car or SUV, pickup truck, it has to be less than 14,000 pounds, which means that if you're buying like an RV or a trailer or any pre-owned vehicle, that's excluded. The other catch is that it has to be assembled in the US to be eligible for this deduction. So the takeaway here and the planning consideration is that this is temporary. So you can deduct a decent amount of interest, up to $10,000 per year. That's the cap. And let's see, there's uncertainty about how long these rules will be in effect and whether they will sunset in 2028 or extend further. The other consideration is that if you have a modified adjusted gross income over a certain threshold, it's $100,000 a year if you're single, $200,000 a year if you're filing jointly, then that deduction starts to phase out. What's the takeaway here? Are you planning to buy a new car possibly in the next 3 years? Because it looks like it starts this year in 2025 and goes through 2028. May or may not be extended. I wouldn't count on it. So if you're thinking, yeah, I should probably buy a new car, I need one, it's going to change the decision on whether you pay cash or whether you get a loan. It makes the decision more complicated because if these cars that you buy have to check certain boxes, like it has to be a certain make and model, because again, it has to be assembled in the US. There's going to be resources that are going to tell you if that car is going to qualify for that or not. But if you're thinking you need a car, it's going to change maybe what car you buy so that you can qualify for the deduction. It might accelerate the timing. If you're like, yeah, I kind of need a new car, but it's like, well, are you going to benefit enough from this where it would make sense to buy one between now and when this expires in 2028? And would it change the decision between paying cash, taking a loan out, or leasing? Because again, this is for interest on auto loans for a new car purchase. Okay. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.